Hey, welcome. Congratulations. You started the first step in having better personal financial knowledge and looking into your finances, understanding your finances, learning about your finances. I'm really happy to have you here. I'm excited to teach you some things that I know that I used over the past, my whole life, I guess, and life experiences to help you better understand personal finance and not make it seem so scary. So without further ado, I'd like to jump into our PowerPoint here. Okay, so this PowerPoint, I hope you downloaded already. If not, stop the video, download it. You can use it as notes, either digitally or print it out, however you like, or take notes in general and say, this is module one. I'm going to be reading off these slides a little bit, but I'm more going to be explaining things a lot further. They're more just notes for you to look back and reference. So use this going forward. I also have a budget attached to that you're going to need to look at to the first homework after this first module here to fill out. We're going to get into that in a second. There's a few other things I'll show you and bring up throughout the course here. But like I said, I'm really happy to have you here. This is one thing I like to say is stop saying I should have started years ago and start today. Of course, investing in the stock market when you were 1 year old would be the best thing ever, or you started during COVID or something like that. But the second best time to start investing or saving money or investing in yourself or anything is right now. So that's what you're doing today, and that's awesome. You took the plunge and you're doing it, and I really appreciate that. So like we were saying, talking about money is kind of weird. It's not a subject taught in school. Even if you're a finance major in college, personal finance really isn't a topic. It's kind of like a given to people, which is weird. And it's just really scary to a lot of people. And I don't want it to be scary. I just want you to start being aware of your finances, being aware of money, and not just putting it in the back of your mind and looking at your bills at the end of the month thinking, crap, I lost money again this month. I want it to just be everyday thoughts. I know I have this much money left in my bank account after my fixed costs. I can spend this much, or if I go over, I know I have this money saved from before. So what's the goals of this course? Why are you taking this course? Why am I creating this course? First, like we're talking about right now, is understanding money better, understanding it and not being scared of it. I want you to understand your ins and outflows on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, yearly basis, multi-year basis. I want you to create a budget, which is not as scary as it sounds. I'll explain that further. It's simple and not as awful as it sounds, trust me. I want you to build an emergency saving. That's going to be like our second goal. After we understand our budget, I want you to build your emergency fund, have 3 to 6 months of your expenses in cash, this other account you don't normally see. So in case anything bad happens, you just pull from it and not get it further into credit card debt or get into credit card debt, one of the two. So that's big. Next, after we build that, we're going to plan for the future. What's the next steps in your life? You want to buy a house, you want to save for retirement, you want to save for your kids' college, etc. And then the final step is financial security, where your money and your little businesses or your job pays you so much you don't have to worry about anything, or your side incomes pays for your bills, etc. Whatever that looks like for you, which again, everyone is different. That's one thing about this course. There's no one answer to everything because everyone is different and everyone has different ins and outflows and wants different goals in their life. So one big question is, why don't we normally talk about money in general? And it's kind of a cultural thing in the United States where I live, where most of you probably do, but maybe not. It's kind of taboo to talk about money. Even with your family, they'll say, oh, I hope you're making more money, take this job that pays more, but they won't say, oh, how are your ins and outflows doing? You could be making less than them, but saving more than them because you spend less. There's lots of factors to it that no one really gets into. It's just the American way is make more money, but don't talk about it. Make more to spend more. And that's what we're trying to stray away from. Also, the only way you learn about money is really through talking to other people because you don't have any schooling on money. So if your parents taught you a certain way or a certain idea of money, that might be the only thing you know, and it could be wrong. Or your parents taught you the correct, a good thing about money, and you've been living okay, but you need to learn more or a different point of view. So I'd love for you to not be scared of it. And hopefully, as a culture, we kind of become less taboo on money, where we can talk about it with our friends and family. So we can all learn more and say, oh, you're doing this. That's a good idea. I want to start doing that to make more money or save more money. Or you can say, I'm having issues in this part about spending here, saving here. And you could have a friend or family member saying, well, I like to do this. And it just make us all smarter. Essentially, like the way the healthcare program is going right now, doctors really aren't allowed to share your information. But in the future, if they do share your information, maybe more doctors can learn about different things that are issues in the healthcare business. And then the computers or doctors can bounce ideas and we get more medical knowledge and cure more diseases. So I feel like that's the same with personal finance. The more we talk about it, I like that it's all over TikTok right now. It's good that the kids are getting it more out in the open. I hope that that's a future forward move for money because it's just better for everyone. Quick background about myself, like why are you listening to me? Why the heck? What do I know? I grew up, I had parents who were great savers. They grew up really poor, so they wanted to not be poor. So they were good savers, worked really hard, 401k, mortgage, went that route, taught me how not to buy the most expensive thing or spend more than you make, etc., like that. Little things that I take for granted that my wife Shannon always says, and this isn't common knowledge. You need to tell the people. So I'm here to tell you. When I was 12, I started my first banking savings account. I had a birthday party and like 20 kids came, gave me some gifts, and I had $150. I put it in there, and it's probably still in there if you think of it that way. But I've been saving my whole life. Prior to that was piggy banks. I got a job. I was turning 16 that summer, so I was still 15. I was a lifeguard, and I had at least a summer job ever since. First summer I made like $1,000. I was super excited. Drove my bike to the pool and stuff. Fun first job. I went to Duquesne for my undergrad. That's downtown Pittsburgh, if you don't know. I majored in accounting with a minor in finance. Went into the accounting world. I was an auditor for a year. I did taxes and bookkeeping at a public firm for 3 years. And I went to a Fortune 500 company, worked in AR, started to learn to manage people a little bit as a senior for 3 years. And I got my MBA from LSU Shreveport Online because my company paid for it. And then I was a controller at a small engineering firm for a year. And that was like a top position as an accountant. And then after that, I quit my job to start working on my own businesses like this and other businesses with Shannon. And my little side businesses paid the bills. So I wanted to have some more freedom in my life. And hopefully this course not only give myself more freedom, but give you more freedom. So like I said, I like to tell you little stories about my childhood that can really dumb this stuff down sometimes. Maybe it can stick with you a little easier. So I'm going to talk about my first budget I ever made. So you do think like a budget is this Excel spreadsheet, which we're going to make, but it doesn't have to be that. So 7th grade, my mom started giving me $10 a week lunch money. Prior to that, like you got this little like ticket and they punched holes in it for lunches in my school. I grew up in the country. Anyways, a school government issued lunch with $1.25. So I thought if I could make 25 cents a day, find it on the ground, I'd take up people's trays or go buy them a snack and they give me a nickel or something like that. So I try to make a quarter a day so I could save $5 a week. I'd only spend 5, make a quarter a day, and I have $5 for the weekend. So that was my first budget where I not only saved money, but I was trying to make a little money as an incentive to save even more. And most days I made more than a quarter a day. Someone would throw 50 cents on the table, like, I don't want to carry this home. I'd be like, I'll take it. So, that was an easy 50 cents. And that was exciting for me. So then I had $5 on the weekend to hang out with my friends. A lot of times we would drive to McDonald's because there wasn't much else to do for high school kids in a small town. So I get my favorite McDonald's order, which was a McDouble, McChicken, and a small fry. and a water was $3.18. So I take 18 cents out of my little change, and I'm at $3. So then I still saved essentially $2 a week, just lunch money. Sounds stupid, small dollars, but when you're seventh grade, I mean, that could add up for 9 weeks, or a whole year of school, save up for something else big. But that's another thing I learned young. It's either you need to spend less or make more. So me spending less, I couldn't spend any less than $1.25 on lunch. Again, very small numbers, very dumb right here. But so I tried to make more so I could save a little more and have more money to do things with. So if you can get that in your mind now, that's like the first step. Like when you have your allotted of money every month right now, you're thinking, oh, I wish I could save more. So you're like, oh, it's just so tough to spend less. Well, maybe you just need to make a little more on the side business or try to get a raise or something like that. And we'll go into that further in the course. But if you're someone that makes a lot of money and you're like, where'd all my money go? Maybe you need to spend less, and we'll look into things that you're overspending on and how to move on forward with that. That being said, congrats, we're done with module 1. I know it was just an intro, but you do have homework. So the homework is download that budget spreadsheet I have. You can use either Excel if you have that on your computer, or if you have a Google account, use Google Sheets. The Mac one doesn't work very well. I would recommend the Google over trying to use the Mac version of Sheets, but maybe you're good at it better than me. But try to fill it out the best you can. Fill in your fixed expenses. So a fixed expense is something that doesn't change every month. So your rent, mortgage, if you have student loans or car payment or something like that, put that in. Variable expenses, variable meaning it changes month to month. So that could be your electric, gas. So try to average that out for the year and put that number in there. The hardest number is going to be what I put going out. So that would be anything outside of things that you have to buy. So you have to buy groceries, gas for your car, which you have to estimate on those. But anything outside of those two or bills is what I call going out. That's going to grab a coffee, getting dinner, shopping, getting drinks, etc. So if you don't know that number, just keep it blank. We'll go into it further. But for me, I used $175 a week for all my 20s, which is different for everyone's different, because if you have kids or different point in your life, you're probably gonna have to spend more than that or less than that. I don't know. But try to, over the next month or so, get a feel for your spending on non-fixed or utility bills, and try to find that number and put that in your budget. A budget is like a living document. We're always going to continue to revisit it and change it. I used to look at my budget daily when I was bored at work. Again, I'm a nerd. You're not probably as nerdy as me, so you won't do that. But it's good to look at it and keep refreshing it and trying to get a grasp on your money and where it's going. So do that for homework, and then we'll jump into module 2, looking at your budget.